Hi there, everybody. I am making a video on an issue that I'm seeing occur more and more often. And since we last week learned about run-on sentences, and that is a complete sentence and another complete sentence just joined improperly, still in the realm of sentences, we have another issue, and that is called a sentence fragment, meaning it's just not complete. It's only only a fragment of a sentence. Now, I want to emphasize it has nothing to do with the length of the sentence. It doesn't mean it's too short. No, no, no. It could actually be long, but it's still improperly put together. So, what do I mean by that? Improperly put together? Well, let's pause for a moment and just remember what does make up a sentence. So, let me try this little gizmo here. Good, 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 to focus. So a sentence has to have a subject and a verb. The man eats his dinner. The phone is working today. The pen runs down my fingers. The flower smells beautiful. Right? Those are all correct. You have a thing, a person, a place, something that is the subject that is then doing something. So that works. Subject and a verb, and then at the end, a period to wrap it up. When it comes to fragments, some of this is missing. We might not have a certain part, or we do have that part and it's improperly created, or the wrong formation of it that makes it a fragment. So with that said, let me show you some examples. Like for this one here, the man eats his dinner. We have the subject and the verb. But if it said, because the man eats his dinner, period, that's not going to work. Or the man eating his dinner, no, that's not going to work. Or while the man eats his dinner, no, that's not going to work. Things like that. Or to eat his dinner. So those are all situations where we kind of have the same content, but we're only have some of the important parts. So we need a subject and a verb, and they are correctly created or formed. Okay, so with that said, let's look at this here. So here's one way to remedy it here, or actually here's one problem and then the remedy. The mother driving the boys to school. Okay, we have a subject, the mother, we have a verb, driving, but that's not properly formed. You could say the mother is driving, the mother was driving, the mother drove the boys to school. So just an ing verb isn't going to work. All right. So if you see that, I will correct it and you'll know what I'm referring to. And that is yes subject, yes verb, but that ing form is not enough. So kind of related to that is this one right here. Baking a dozen cookies. And this is the situation I'm seeing the most often in your writing by far. And that is a verb that is an ing verb that starts the sentence and it goes on and then there's a period at the end. It's not going to work. Baking a dozen cookies, period? No. Running across the street, period? No. Smelling the flowers at sunset under a burning sky? That doesn't make sense. Period? No, that doesn't work. You need a subject and a verb. So in this situation here, which again is the most common, you can correct it by saying, I am baking a dozen cookies, or I am in the kitchen, comma, baking a dozen cookies. In fact, that is the remedy almost every time I see this, the ing is, it's meant to be attached to the previous sentence with a comma. Now you could start off, if you want to be fancy, like baking a dozen cookies is what makes me happy. There's a fancy word for that called a gerund. You don't have to know that. But that is a complete sentence. It is complicated. So there's that situation, and kind of related to it is this one here, where instead of starting with an ing verb, you start with the to in the verb. This is called an infinitive. To finish up my work, period. To teach you at Half Moon Bay, period. To bicycle up the mountain, period. Nope, you need a subject in there and the proper form of the verb. I need to finish up my work. Okay, so those are the most often cases of it. Here is one more, I'm sorry, two more, and then I'll show you the one exception. So this is a real common one here with the because. Because I was hungry. So you have a subject and a verb, but not when it's locked inside of a clause, like with the word because, or down here with the word which. A little hard to see it there, but this is when I see it a lot. Because I was hungry, period. Which is the reason I will meet you, period. While I was teaching, period. No, no, no. Those are all phrases that belong to the major part of the sentence. Dependent clauses, independent clauses, those are the fancy words for it. So because I was hungry, you want to phrase it, I ate all that food because I was hungry, which is not a good idea. He is thinking of cheating, which is not a good idea. So these are phrases that belong to a larger thought, to the main sentence. Now, the one exception is, let me put this here. The one exception is when you're in dialogue, because people talk in fragments. So you'll see it a lot in dialogue, like this example. She told her boss, no way, nope, not going to clean up the office. Your problem, all your problem. Okay, those are all fragments, three fragments. But it's okay because that's the cadence of speech. That's very, very different from these situations here. Okay, so sentence fragments, learn about them, master them, and when you do master them, then you can start to break the rules a little bit, but you're not at that point yet. Okay, thanks. Bye.